We come to the point now in these Saturday morning educational videos where we start to focus in on the countries, the islands that produce rum. I've been generic until now. Now I'm kind of deep diving country by country, island by island. Today we're starting off with Barbados rum. Now, to many people, Barbados is the birthplace of rum. There are sort of documents that kind of dispel that myth as well, but you know, for most people we kind of automatically think that Barbados is the birthplace of rum, so it kind of does that. I think I've seen documents about Brazil and cane shoot being imported from Brazil like way back in the days, but you know, most of us will always associate Barbados as that kind of birthplace. Now, Barbados rum, there are 4 distilleries in Barbados. I'm going to kind of talk you through the distillery own brands and other brands that come from Barbados that you might think are distilleries and they're not, but we need to focus on the four distilleries first and foremost. So it's only right that we start off with Mount Gay. Mount Gay is the oldest continuous distillery that's been distilling rum. How do you say that properly? It's the oldest continuous distillery distilling rum, you know what I mean, in the world. Okay, it's been around, it's been continuously distilling since 1703. Now, there is a caveat because there are, I think, 2 other distilleries that are older. However, they've shut down for loads of years. One of them even centuries, I think. It's only recently in modern day times reopened. But Mount Gay has been continuously distilling for since 1703. So it is the longest longest continuous distillery in the world when it comes to rum. Massive. Now, when it comes to Mount Gay, and these are not factual numbers, these are rough numbers based on sales volumes. We kind of look at Mount Gay that produces roughly about 10% of the rum from Barbados. And that's actually, for a big brand like that, that's actually not much, 10%, you know. But when you deep dive, when you look at it, they don't really have too much going on apart from the Mount Gay Eclipse, the Black Barrel and the XO. And then the occasional, every few years, different kind of barrel, aged barrel, like we've had the Andean and Oak, and we think of the sherry cask recently. Something, you know, they're not really doing too much when you compare that. But just to get this, they're owned by Remy Cointreau, which is kind of like a massive distributor. Remy is a cognac house. You will obviously know Cointreau from Orange Liqueur. They are a distributor in their own right, and we'll come on to that in a second. But yeah, they're owned by Remy Cointreau now. So you know, there's money pouring into it. It's just not massive sales volumes in that respect. So the second one we have to go to is Foursquare. Now, Foursquare is Richard Seal. They are responsible for Dawley's. I've got his RL Seal here, so Richard Seal there. So we've got Dawley's, we've got that, and I just had a mental block then. Obviously, we've got the ECS, the Exceptional Cask Series, where he kind of just does his release. I think he does 2-3 a year. I'm not a huge ECS fanboy. I kind of, because they do go above the 50 quid ceiling of what I've kind of got on this channel as well. So I don't really pay too much attention to them, mainly because every other flipping rum reviewer in the country, in the world, does focus on them. So I want to be different. I want to focus on the rums that don't get shouted out quite a lot. So, you know, there's a huge fan base for them. They are limited release, but the ECS makes up that. Now, people will be thinking, and there's another brand to come out here, that McCoy, the real McCoy, is a Foursquare brand. It is, but it's not a direct Foursquare brand. Richard Seal blends it and makes it, but makes it for makes it for real McCoy essentially. The same way as Cockspur. Cockspur is not a distillery brand. I'll talk about where Cockspur comes from in a moment, but that'll be another one that you kind of associate that with. Now, again, these aren't official sales figures, but, you know, when you look at Mount Gay, it's got 10%. We roughly think that Foursquare is about 12-13% of Barbados sales. Again, Dawley, I mean, this is just generically in the UK. Dawley's is not a huge brand. The RL Seal is not huge at all. And it's limited numbers of the ECS that gets released. So it's never, ever going to compete at volume level. But then you could argue that Richard Seal doesn't want to compete at that level. You know, he's 3-year-old, he's 12 and 14. They are niche sales, if you like. He's not going after the big market. So if we've got, 4 distilleries, we've got maybe just under 25% at the moment of rum volume. What are the other distilleries? Well, the brand that I haven't got here is St Nicholas Abbey. St Nicholas Abbey are the new guys in town, 2006, I think they are. Again, sugarcane juice rums, but that's kind of turned in. They grow their own sugarcane. Sorry, it's not sugarcane juice. They grow their own sugarcane on site. But again, it is small batch. It is very expensive as well. Again, there's possibly only 2 rums that come under 50 quid in their range. And I think their white 3-year-old rum is like £45. And it's this argument, would you spend £45 on a rum, a white unaged rum? It's that whole argument. So I've never really featured them. But again, sales volumes, you're talking minuscule, like a couple of percent, if that. So roughly, we are left with 75% of the volume of rum coming from WIRD, West Indian Rum Distillery. Bombshell, for those of you that don't know, I think this is very common knowledge, but for those of you that don't know, Maison Ferrand own them. Maison Ferrand is the parent company of Plantation. I always say Plantation owns WIRD, but it's Maison Ferrand. Alexandra Gabriel is Maison Ferrand, okay? There's various other brands under the Maison Ferrand banner, but it's very much the home of Plantation rum. And WIRD makes up at least, I've seen higher numbers, to be fair. I've seen higher numbers in the 80s, but I don't kind of think that fits. The number I would roughly go with, bearing in mind there's going to be some variance on this, is roughly 75% of the rum coming off Barbados comes from WIRD. And WIRD is also responsible for, it's not their brand, but it's where Cockspur rum comes from. So Cockspur comes off WIRD as well. But the other big brand that will start doing the rounds very, very soon, this is a brand in Barbados, and I think Maison Ferrand technically obviously own it, but you're going to see, I'm going to call it Stades. I'm not sure if it's Stads, but I'm going to call it Stades, STADES, Stades rum. I did try it down at Rum Fest last year, 2022 in London. Lovely, lovely rum. So you'll start to see the white, and I think it's like maybe a 3-year-old, sort of a gold rum coming out of there. But they are your 4 main Barbados distilleries. Now let's just get into some facts and some kind of tasting notes, inherent tasting notes you'd get from Barbados rums. Bearing in mind that all distilleries produce rums in a different sort of guise, but you still have this, after you've been in your rum journey for 6-12 months, you will start to pick out differences between Barbados rum, no matter what distillery, and Jamaican rum, from Guyanan rum, from Dominican Republic to Cuban. So they do have an inherent style to their rums. Back in the day, it would have been pot still, generically pot still, copper pot still as well. But, even Richard Seal, even Foursquare have column stills now. So there's a big thing with column stills, but they are typically what we think of blended rums, a blend of pot and column stills. But take Foursquare, for example, in the ECS, there are plenty of kind of single pot still rums that Richard's sort of ages up in various different barrels, and that's what gets released as the ECS series, Exceptional Cask Series. Okay, so there are great examples of single pot, single still, single barrel rums coming from Barbados, and that is mainly Foursquare. Plantation do their sort of single cask release. Well, they're not called single cask releases. Some of them are. They do single cask, but they do single origin or whatever the actual range is called. But a lot of them do get finished off in cognac barrels in France, Maison Ferrand. So they've got that side to them. So authentic Barbados aged rum, you're primarily just looking at Foursquare, with the very exceptional random release from Mount Gay that comes out once in a blue moon sort of thing. Come on, Mount Gay, up your game. Come on, give us more age statement, different age rums. So how would I describe that inherent kind of Barbados taste, if you like? Now, the one thing we kind of do know and think about Barbados rums, it's kind of that we think they are some of the leading experts at aging rum. They're kind of proud that they can age rum. They have the climate there, obviously. They have the facilities. They have plenty of barrels and kind of import the best of the best barrels to kind of age their rums. So we kind of look at them as the kings of queens. Let's go multi-gender. The best. Let's go the best at aging rums. I'm not saying they are the best, but we would kind of associate them with very good aged rums. Now with those aged rums, you do get obviously plenty of caramel, plenty of vanilla coming off, especially off ex-bourbon, plenty of toffee notes. You kind of get those notes. But for me, what I do pick up quite often is the tropical fruit side of things. And slightly different to the Barbados thing. So I get kind of a lot of pineapples and coconut off Barbados rums, especially in the plantation ones. Plantation are very big pineapple, sort of coconut forward rums. Foursquare do a little bit, but you know, as I say, when I taste the ECS, they do have the barrel influence. And for me, as I've spoken about, I'm not the hugest fan of a lot of barrel influence coming out of the rum. I like to taste the rum. There's some camps that say, well, that enhances the taste of the rum. And there are other camps like me, it says, well, actually it takes away the taste of the rum because you're then getting more barrel influence. So there's no right or wrong way to look at it. It's just how you kind of perceive it. I love neat, unaged rum, and I just like to see that sort of rounded off for me. The perfect sort of ages for me are 3-5-year-old rums, very, very push. I typically don't like, there's a couple of exceptions, like that, like the Seal, which is 10. I do like the Dawley's 12 is good, but since trying the 14, I think the 14 is even better than that. But again, while you still can taste its rum, you do get a massive wood influence from it, and it's not my first thought to grab from a rum. I do prefer lighter aged rums because I love the rum to shine through. But rightly or wrongly, as I said, we do sort of deem Barbados rum as the Rolls Royce of the rum world. You know, the quality, there is no GI. This is the whole plantation versus Foursquare debate as well. There is no GI because Barbados, certain parts of Barbados, Foursquare, don't want any additives, you know, all that malarkey going through there. Whereas plantation, we know, do add additives, you know, and there's for me, it's gone way past the point where you can actually have a GI now. It's just pointless. If they were going to do it 20, 30 years ago, get it done. Now it's absolutely pointless because when you've got a distillery that makes up 75% of the sales of Barbados rum, even if it was lower at 50%, you know, and so the other 50% is cheddar, you know, this is your biggest example of Barbados rum and states and all that sort of stuff. So the GI is a little bit pointless if you ask me, but that's just my little humble opinion. So I know there'll be some rum enthusiasts that are kind of watching these videos. In the comments below, to help the newbies out, to help the novices out, stick your favourite Barbados rums in the comments below. And for this one, I will let you go over £50 a bottle, $50 or $55, 55, 56 euros. I will let you go over that, but you kind of have to make it known that they are more expensive rums. But if you've got rums under 50 quid, again, whack them in the comments below. Just help the rest of the community out.